What's going on, everybody? My name's Philip, and welcome to another video in my motivational series called How to Fly with a Clipped Wing. Today's episode is all about passion. It's about how I managed to rediscover passion in my life after my spinal cord injury, how passion helped me return back to center, and how passion might be able to help you the same way in your own life. So, first off, what is passion? And well, I've got my own thoughts about what it is, and my definition might be a little different than yours. But I did find this great interpretation of what passion is by someone who, until he recently died, was a very popular and inspirational motivational speaker. His name was Wayne Dyer, and he said, "Passion is a feeling that tells you this is the right thing to do. Nothing can stand in my way. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. This feeling is so good that it cannot be ignored. I'm going to follow my bliss and act upon this glorious sensation of joy." Wow, personally, I've got to agree with that interpretation of what passion is. It's even hard to not read into the passion he used to say this or write this. And I've got a short story to share with you guys about passion in my life that starts actually before my motorcycle accident, before the spinal cord injury. In 2005, a year before my motorcycle accident, my dad died of a violent and wrenching heart attack in my arms while I tried saving him. Now that specifically was such a traumatizing experience, let alone the fact that he was gone at all. And throughout my 16 years of life up until that point, my dad had helped me develop a very strong passion for a few different things that he and I would often do together. We'd ride our motorcycles together, or we'd go out surfing together. He helped me develop a passion for physical activity in general, whether that was playing sports, or running, or things like that I could physically exert myself and feel great while doing it. Whenever I'd get up early in the morning with my surfboard to paddle out into the calm, glassy, rolling waves as the sun came up, or whenever I'd climb on my motorcycle to set out on a ride on a beautiful afternoon, I'd feel the feelings of passion that Wayne Dyer talked about. And when my dad died, I relied on those passions, those physical activities that I was passionate about, in order to help me cope with my dad's death, in order to help me hold on to the experiences that he and I once shared that made me feel so good and gave me a sense of identity, purpose, and expression. Fast forward to a year later in 2006, the motorcycle happens, and I paralyzed my arm and my chest and suffer a crazy concussion and begin the rest of my life dealing with paralysis, muscular degeneration, chronic pain, and a whole bunch of other subsequent issues. With my arm permanently in the arm sling and completely dead and paralyzed, I was physically prohibited from safely doing the things in life that I was passionate about. Things that not only were integral to my happiness and sense of identity, but were things that I could do to take me back to the times of being with my dad and enjoying life with him, whether we were together on our surfboards or on our motorcycles. I felt completely lost and incapable. I felt like I was being tortured every time the agonizing phantom pains would take hold and remind me that the things that I was born to do were forever behind me. But then one day I decided to change my thought process. I decided that I didn't want to live in the mental prison that my circumstances had led me to believe that I was in. I decided to change with respect to what I thought was possible. Up until that point, I had spent months and months wallowing in what I thought that I could no longer do, but it was now time to question those convictions. Could there be more to life than that? Certainly. I remember the instant that this change in mentality started happening. While working full-time, I started going back to school, and one of the classes I took that first semester was a communication class. And in this class, I learned to be more comfortable with thinking rather than relying on doing things that involved physicality. I learned to be more comfortable with using my thoughts and to think about what I was going to say from a more directed and strategic point of view. I did really well in that class, learning how to think and speak more effectively. So my professor invited me to try out for the debate team. And from that point on, I found not only lots of success applying a newly discovered skill set, but I rediscovered passion and purpose. I found out that through debate, through speech, and through challenging my mind, that life truly, really did go on. By opening myself up to new things and new experiences, and by not allowing myself to fixate on what I felt was impossible or what I might never be able to do again, I found myself in a situation that helped me add to my sense of identity in ways that I couldn't have known about otherwise. It's kind of like what you might hear about finding love without looking for it. You know, the new life defining experiences and newly developed passion for speech that I found on the debate team were things that I found without looking for them. These things truly found me once I opened myself up and changed my ways of thinking. Debate engaged my mind. The researching, the team dynamic of the debate team was so invigorating, and I was surrounded by people who were motivated to use their minds and their speech as their own form of muscle and power. These folks came from all different types of backgrounds and walks of life, in what was basically a small community where intellect, teamwork, practice, and passion all converged. The experiences that I had on the debate team, the work ethic of my teammates, and the enthusiasm for academics that I learned from them and my debate partner are all what helped foster my passion for speech, schooling, and mental exercise. These experiences accumulated over time and led to me working hard to harness my newfound passion for speech and school, and eventually to make it to UC Berkeley, whereas prior to all of this, I was so unmotivated to do well in school and barely even graduated high school at all. Debate gave me the power to know that I could make it to a four-year university, and the power to know that nothing could stand in my way as long as I was prepared to do everything that was needed to get to where I wanted to go. Seeing that I could be successful in something academic helped me get the wheels turning and get me to start thinking what else was possible that I didn't know about. All of this happiness, joy, purpose, expression, possibility, opportunity was all allowed because I decided to change my thought process and to try new things and remain open-minded to exploring uncharted territory. As the fifth and final P in the 5P system that I've been talking about, passion is essential as the main driving force that helps give us the reasons why we do the things that we do, why we work hard to achieve something that's either improbable or that others tell us flat out can't be done. The things we're passionate about are things that we'd gladly do for free every single day if we could do it in a practical manner. So what's your passion? What are you passionate about? Are you passionate about drawing or painting? Are you passionate about rebuilding cars? Or are you passionate about makeup? Or are you passionate about reading certain types of books that for one reason or another you find gripping? Are you passionate about making your own music? Or compiling music in crazy and creative ways? Are you passionate about building things or learning how certain things work? Are you passionate about photography? In addition to the patient's perspective, positivity, and perseverance that we've been talking about in prior videos, you got to have things or something in life that you're passionate about. More than that, you've got to stay true to those things that you're passionate about and somehow incorporate that into your life every single day. You've got to make time for it, because what you're making time for by doing that is you're making time for you to be yourself and who you were meant to be and to do what you were meant to do, and feeling the positivity and the purpose that you were meant to feel in this life that you're living in the present moment here on earth. Some people are fortunate enough to have what they're passionate about also be what they do for a living. But if you don't, you've got to set time aside each day to stay true to your passions. If these passions are lost, whether that's because we've convinced ourselves that we don't have the time or the energy, or that they're in fact just silly hobbies, or whatever the roadblocks are that we put up in front of ourselves, if these roadblocks exist and our passions are lost, it becomes so easy to go day after day after day doing the same things over and over and over again like lifeless robots. Get up, take a shower, get dressed, go to work, have the same cup of coffee, deal with the same people day after day at work with the same issues, come home in the same traffic on the same route, maybe ask a few people how they're doing, good, how are you, good, then go to bed watching maybe the same show on TV that you like that's on every day at the same time, talking about the same damn stuff. And if this sounds like your situation, but you don't know what you're passionate about, think back to my story about how my situation all started with a change of mindset and a willingness to actively go out and try something new. There's a quote on my website, www.howtoflywithaclippedwing.com, by Tony Robbins that says, "By changing nothing, nothing changes." And I just love the power yet the simplicity of that idea. Instead of allowing this day after day cycle of repetition and monotony to continue, inject some variability in there somewhere. Go on YouTube and look up videos on how to do something that you think sounds cool or that you've always wanted to try. Do a Google search on how to crochet. Maybe get an adult coloring book and some colored pencils or pastels and get your artistic mode going. Go on Amazon or to a bookstore and pick up an introductory textbook on a subject that you find interesting and read that before bed instead of watching a TV show that helps you veg out, after a long day. Get an inexpensive pair of running shoes and go out for a walk or a jog or a run every day. Find a local meetup club where people get together to talk about things or to do things that you'd like to try. Go to a hobby store and get a little modeling kit, something, anything to break those day after day habits that progressively get harder and harder to break as time goes on and as you become more and more paradoxically comfortable with the maddening repetition. And once you can do that, you can begin to discover your passion for things that you never knew you had, or to rediscover passions that you might have lost over the years. You have the power to change, and you have the power to find purpose, achievement, happiness, and success through embracing your passions and new experiences. Just like in my story, a change in mindset is so important and so powerful, and is the only thing required before an entire sea of possibilities begin opening themselves up to you. And it all starts with the change in the mindset and the conscious disruption of these mundane day after day habits in order to make time for what really makes you you. Thank you again so much for watching this video about my own personal thoughts on passion. With the 5 P's defined in these videos that I've been putting out there so far, we can now start getting into talking about other motivational topics and motivational stories within the context of patience, perspective, positivity, perseverance, and passion. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video, where I'll talk a bit about the book that I've been working on to help get all of my thoughts and experiences out in one single place for people to be able to read through. I'm looking forward to it, and remember, by remaining patient with ourselves, by maintaining a healthy perspective, a positive mindset, and a desire to persevere, and by remaining true to our passions that make us who we truly are, we have the basic tools to help us learn how to fly despite our clipped wings. I'll see you next week.